ladies and gentlemen, to the RSL. We're in this first season of 2016 in the second night of the round of 32, so second night overall. It's going to be this next match coming up, Koshkii v Zergwave.
So it will be a TVZ, and it will be on Lerlac Crest for our first map. So again, two really good players. What do you think, DrennoC?
I honestly have not heard that much about Zergwave. Now, he is on Storm, which means he's going to be pretty darn good, but I don't know much about him. More of Koshkii at the moment, and I really like Koshkii. Met him at BlizzCon, hung out with him for a while, even used a couple of his builds in my own TVT repertoire, so this will be a really great game overall. He's got a lot of unique builds in his own openers that he has been designing, so definitely watch out for those. Map 1 will be on Lerlac Crest, which of course hasn't had too big of a difference, but we do have that third base a little bit more secure.
Yeah, now you don't have to break rocks to defend it. Those rocks are already broken, and now you can break them to get to it. So it's less open at the start.
Definitely, and it may occur for either player really in the situation. We've seen a lot of aggression happen on Lerlac Crest. Early Hellbat pushes, Liberators, whatever, or drops happen from Terran. Obviously a little bit more prominent from Zerg, which can be delayed, but there's a variety of cool little nuances having that third base blocked off provide. But game 1 is going to be Lerlac Crest. Game 2, Prion Terraces. 3 is Ruins of Saris. A pretty dang standard map pool, of course. Prion Terraces is going to be different now, but honestly, watching it, I haven't seen too many new things. I'm curious to see, though, what we'll see new on Lerlac. Loading in for game 1 of this best of 3.
Indeed, I am curious to see if anything is really different, if the players handle these changes. You know, I don't think there'll be anything too big on Lerlac, but you never know.
In the top left-hand corner of Lerlac Crest, from Team Exile 5, it is the Orange Terran, the one, the only Koshkii.
And in the top right, his opponent, our green Zerg from Storm Gaming, it is Zergwave.
This is the spawn position that will most benefit Koshkii versus Zergwave, especially with the new changes. Of course, if we saw a big lane flood or even earlier aggression, those rocks, they're starting down. He does not need to worry about them quite as early. And of course, there's only going to be one major way in the early game into the natural base, which will factor in for both players. But more importantly for Koshkii, often you do see Terran players having to wall off kind of halfway through the natural base. Lerlac Crest is huge. That will help him out a lot. He won't quite have to wall as severely. It's still not too big of a difference overall into the late game and mid with those rocks. Just very subtle changes to the early.
Yeah, but like you said, it makes life a lot easier here for Koshkii, and he doesn't have to worry too much with, you know, a kind of a crazier wall. But a standard opener here for Zergwave, typical hatch gas pool. We'll see where he goes with that from there. And again, Koshkii, pretty standard opener as well.
See where Koshkii moves on from here. It looks like it will be exactly as you said, Reaper Fast Expand standard. Every once in a while, you can see a quick factory or reactor in a Marine. It's more of TVP and TVT plays. They are possible in the TVZ meta. Koshkii, though, with that Reaper Fast Expand. On a map like Lerlac Crest, you can't get the most damage done, yet because of kind of the area that's in front of the natural base, you can jump up into the natural and quickly jump up into the main for scouting. It's not too hard to get into that main base and scout against Zerg to identify what they're doing. Ooh, Reactor. Beautiful scout from Zergwave. Spots that.
Yeah, that was right on time, too. Zergwave, you know, with that early of a scout, can probably react even quicker, but ooh, what have we got there?
Oh, this is a phenomenal mind game. In general, when you do scout that reactor, you have to see the factory with it, but you can kind of make the inference, okay, maybe you're getting out some Hellions, but no, not at all. Koshkii is opening up with a 3-racks build. As I was saying, he does enjoy making his own builds, and right now you can see some great micro happening, great multitasking, back at home adding on racks and doing a little bit of damage to the lanes he has to pull out eventually, but it looks like he's going to 3 racks, just 3 racks, and Biggest important thing is, of course, will he throw down double tech lab? I'm guessing he will, but that will kind of factor into this game. Oh, actually, another nuance of the third base is the Reaper won't be able to escape. He's got to be really careful. But great KD8 charges overall. Looks like he may be able to deny the third. No, just barely won't be able to.
The Lings will go down, but, you know, this does leave Kawhi at least to be able to scout. Yeah.
Staple gun that hatch to the ground, man. Staple it. Oh, and here's the scout I was talking about. So easy to get the Reaper into the main.
So, I don't know why all of a sudden I just remembered this. I think I have played Zergwave.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, fun story. He was very, very good. But, looks like Zergwave, he's running over here with some Lings, and I don't know if, Kawhi, as you said, was really out of position.
The Marines were in the third base, hoping to find an Overlord. Now, Overlord drops are still viable on this map, which then put his Marines out of position. These Lings are able to get 6 worker kills, maybe even an extra one. This last Ling surviving, possibly a mule, but 6 worker kills, kills a couple of Marines for XKaWi. It's a beautiful little early game boost to Zergwave's overall play. And with taking a third off the back of this, if XKaWi was planning on making a big pressure happen, it's going to be decently delayed now with losing those 6 Marines, or pardon me, 6 workers. Still, overall, it's just a really cool opening from him. Not the most aggressive you can get. It wasn't double tech lab. It was only 1 tech lab to get stim. So just a very unique opening on his part against Zergwave.
And it worked out pretty well. I mean, there were Marines there to help defend. SCVs were lost, but let's not forget that XKaWi does have mules, so he can make up a little bit for those losses. XKaWi does have his starport now on the way. I'm curious if he's going to put a little bit of pressure on soon, or if he's just going to continue to macro up.
It's a unique build from XKaWi, and I'm very curious about that too, and I wonder, often on Laralat Crest, we're seeing a very heavy Roach Ravager push that happens versus Terran. It hits them pretty hard now. Of course, Zergwave opened up with more Lings, but you do see those pressures, and it's hard to do anything against. I'm wondering if that's what he's doing. This generally, you see siege tank defenses, but could be best defense is a really good offense, very good, strong offensive force. But for now, he's just kind of camping up in his main base, camping up in his natural base, getting a nice wall going. And you see he's got some siege tanks and medevacs on the way, but yeah, I really think he was anticipating a little bit earlier of an attack and to have a potent force to defend.
Yeah, that is
double drops coming out. I love that 1 second he realizes that he didn't get 3 Marines and he's like, nah, it's gonna go to this side of the map. A great timed out attack, and this is most likely will hit the third hatch of Zergwave. There's Overlords ready to see it, but Koshkii, I don't know if it's really going to be enough there at home. There's what, like 10-ish Lings and a couple of Roaches out?
Yeah, this could go really well for Kawhi. He's moving in now for the third, maybe not. There we go. Now he's moving in.
At the same time, the majority of the Lings are out on the left-hand side of the map. A couple Marines get dropped on the wrong side of that wall, and that will force XKaWi to pull back, combined with the Queens and Ravagers. Looks like the Ravagers, and there's going to be enough at home to defend, but this is a constant pressure outside of XKaWi, and pardon me, Zergwave's bases. He does have to worry, and he's not going to be able to execute any wondrous attack. And also, if Zergwave's not careful, a couple of his units are going to be broken up right here, but XKaWi is not going to be able to take advantage of that snipe Ravagers. He takes a little bit of damage on the medevac too and has to pull back out.
So be pretty careful with that. The Ravagers can do some damage. The Ravagers also taking down one of the extractors. I'm not sure, was something blocking? I'm not sure.
I don't know, they just decided to make a slight misclick, but either way, he got rid of it. If you're gonna make a mistake, make it boldly. Just be like, yeah, I wanted that to die. Get rid of it, kill it. You still, though, as I was mentioning, you have these medevacs out. Now, Zergwave does see there's no third. It's like, so what are you doing? And it's going to be an incredibly potent army in the middle. So many Marines, 35 Marines are out. They have stim, they have combat shields. Got to be careful. Corrosive barrels do act as a phenomenal AoE. And really, the one backbone, the main core of this army is that one siege tank. That's how XKaWi can fall back onto it. Still, there's not lots of bio here, and one slight misstep will mean a complete failure of this build and overall game, possibly.
Yeah, and as you said, Kawhi, he's got to be so careful here. And Zergwave is doing a pretty good job at moving forward and staying away from those tanks at the same time. This is going to go a little scary for Kawhi in here.
It is a lot of micro-intensive game coming out of Koshkii right here, and he likes that. There's a lot of TVT builds he does, which are incredibly micro-intensive, and at least he started to clean up some of the creep, but he's still got to remember, Zergwave is on 3 solid base, he's got a very strong economy, and Koshkii, he now may be able to take the beautiful engagement prime opportunity. Looks like at the same time, both armies are trading out in the middle of the map, and Zergwave is going to be out in the middle, but then he decides to pull back, and that one siege tank is such a precarious position, but Zergwave is completely out of position, and maybe Koshkii is an opportunity, but he's almost too far down. There's not enough here.
Yeah, the siege tanks were basically just brought down in no time, and now Koshkii, what's left of his army, is either moving across the map or in a really scary spot here at the natural.
Lots of roaches.
This full medevac is at really low health too.
The medevac's got to pull on out of there, and it's still saying this is still 2 base at the almost 9-minute mark for Koshkii. Now he does have a 3rd CC on the way, but it's pretty late for what you'd normally see. And upgrade-wise, we also have +1/1 on the way. Or is that plus? No, that is +1/1. So overall, he's not been able to take the prime engagement that he would like to. Zergwave is not as greedy. Maybe Koshkii thought he was going to take a quick 4th, but that's not been the case. And he's going to be able to hold the middle possibly, but there's just so many corrosive vials here, so many roaches that Zergwave may be able to overwhelm.
Yeah, Zergwave is just starting to move forward. A lot of these medevacs are low health now. And the tanks get taken down with Bile and GG.
A huge concave from Zergwave eventually overwhelms, and Koshkii with some great positional plays, but wasn't able to secure the foothold he really wanted to, or capitalize off the greed that Zergwave may have been going for.
Yeah, Zergwave did a great job there, just taking some really good engagements, defending against some of Kawaii's pressure. Kawhi, he had an interesting build. I wonder if the Lings didn't run by so early, do you think that would have gone a little bit different? Or do you think that Kawhi was really preparing for an earlier attack?
Well, either way with the attack, of course, that would delay it a little bit. I think it was overall a timing attack, and the 6 workers did delay him. Maybe not so much delayed the attack. The attack was still executed about the time he wanted to, but didn't have quite as much as he would like to. And there's a couple situations where I think it was less what he had, but how he used it. You got to remember, he went for this 2 medevac drop at the 3rd hatch of Zergwave. It was looking great. Yeah, there was a little bit of Roach Ravagers, some Queens, but it was looking pretty good. And then he dropped some on one side of the ravine and one side on the other side of the ravine. And just doesn't have the full army and has to pull back.
Yeah. Looks like our next map, Prion Terraces.
Ooh.
So another map that has changed.
And the thing I love so much about Prion Terraces is Zergwave asking, did I kill my own gas? I'm not sure. Someone's probably telling him, like, yeah, you killed your own gas. Kabush's like, yeah, you killed your own gas. But I think that one of the coolest things with Prion Terraces is, of course, like, it's not necessarily unbalanced for one player that can take that gold base quicker. Yes, you can get that gold base and get a strong income, but everyone takes the natural and legacy of the void. That is the nature of the game. 1-base plays are now more, quote-unquote, 2-base plays, but everyone has to take it anyways, and it actually changes more of the mid-late game than the early game. And there is some easier defenses of, like, 3-Rex Reaper versus Zerg, and the Zerg can have some more minerals for Lings. But generally what I've seen is actually it's more affects the mid to late game with the natural mining out quicker than anything else.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
By the way, Rally Hearts in chat, very good Terran players do repair medevacs. I know De Muslim was always really on top of that and did that incredibly well.
It's like, here we go, they're loading into the next game. I'm excited. I'll admit that I haven't seen too many games on this map yet since the change, so interested in seeing how it goes.
I've been playing on a number of them today, so I've seen a lot of different variety of play, but still, as I was saying,